Arrogant Adam Schiff gets humiliated by John Kennedy. Career over. A sitting congressman gets served accountability papers on live television after refusing to clarify inconsistencies in his public statements that would prove mishandling of key information. The sharp-witted senator who orchestrated this takedown, John Kennedy. And it gets so much better the moment Kennedy pulled out those initial documents and watched Schiff's face show the first signs of unease. You're going to appreciate this. But when committee aides walked into the hearing room carrying verification files, while millions watched live, that was just the highlight of one of the most precise political examinations in recent memory. Oh, and wait until you hear the detailed exchanges where Schiff explains his approach to public disclosures as merely procedural, while Kennedy points out the real-world implications. Kennedy had everything prepared. Before we dive into exactly how John Kennedy just challenged Adam Schiff's credibility with the precision of a seasoned debater, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Drop a comment, sharing your thoughts on effective questioning because, trust me, you'll have several insights. What you're about to witness is the kind of thoughtful inquiry that reinforces trust in public service. This wasn't just a routine committee hearing. This was a systematic review of a representative who believed his positions were unassailable, and every key moment was captured on camera. In the Hart Senate Office Building Room 216, Adam Schiff entered what he assumed was a standard oversight session. He had no idea John Kennedy had spent time preparing it into a thorough examination of accountability. The gallery was filled, but not with the typical crowd policy experts, community advocates, people ready to note the proceedings. Schiff walked in at the scheduled, time-tailored suit, assured demeanor. He'd navigated many inquiries before. Why would this differ? Because this time Kennedy had facts aligned. Documents from public records, past statements, even simple timelines. Months of review by a senator known for his incisive questions. At the appointed hour, Kennedy entered like a focused examiner ready to clarify matters. Conservative suit glasses, a binder full of factual points. Schiff was still reviewing notes, unaware. He thinks his explanations hold up, Kennedy had mentioned to aides beforehand. Today, we clarify if they truly do. Chairman's gavel struck firmly. The committee will come to order. One of the most insightful examinations in committee history was about to unfold. Schiff had no idea that in a few hours he'd leave with his professional standing questioned by a senator who maintained composure throughout. The accountability had begun. Senator Kennedy's opening was a masterclass in logical inquiry turned toward public responsibility. He started with the kind of polite acknowledgement that experienced debaters use, but in the modern Senate, it carried the subtle weight of factual precision meeting evasive responses. Congressman Schiff, he began his voice carrying the clarity of someone versed in detailed discussions. I want to start by thanking you for joining this committee today. I know your schedule is demanding, and I truly value your input on these important matters of public trust. His tone was genuinely courteous, such that those new to Kennedy's style might see it as straightforward respect. But seasoned observers spotted the foundation. Kennedy was laying out his factual base before methodically addressing inconsistencies, a method that had become his hallmark in committee work. Schiff, meanwhile, replied with the caution of someone accustomed to scrutiny, yet maintaining poise. Thank you, Senator Kennedy. I'm pleased to be here and address any concerns you may have. His delivery held a hint of readiness for debate, though he kept the steadiness that had served him in numerous hearings and interviews. He knew this wasn't casual conversation among peers despite Kennedy's warm introduction. Well, that's mighty kind of you, sir, Kennedy continued, glancing at his notes with the deliberate pace of someone with ample time and solid evidence. Now, I'd like to begin with some fundamental questions on public responsibility. if that's all right, just to set a common ground for our talk. The apparently simple request held strategic depth. Kennedy was establishing the framework for accountability that would matter later, highlighting principles that would spotlight contradictions in Schiff's record. You've served in Congress for several terms now, is that right? Yes, that's accurate. Kennedy nodded approvingly, as if affirming details he already knew well. And in that role, you're expected to handle information with accuracy and transparency, correct? Absolutely, of course, Congressman. Could you outline for the committee the key principles of ethical information handling in public office? The query landed with subtle impact. Schiff's assured look wavered briefly enough for watchers to notice he'd been prompted on basics he might not recite verbatim. Ethical handling, he started, clearly recalling guidelines he'd referenced before. It involves ensuring facts are verified, disclosures are timely, and any potential conflicts are addressed openly. Kennedy's faint smile indicated he'd anticipated a general response. Well, that's a fair summary, sir, but let's get precise. Allow me to reference the exact guidelines from congressional ethics rules. He didn't need to flip pages. Like a prepared examiner, Kennedy had core standards memorized. The rules state that members must avoid even the appearance of impropriety and ensure all public statements are based on reliable information. The room's attention sharpened. This wasn't the expected partisan exchange. Kennedy was leading an ethics seminar, and Schiff was being tested on fundamentals. Now, sir, I'd like to explore how you've applied those principles, especially in managing public communications and disclosures. Kennedy's shift was smooth.